Namaskar. Welcome to Awakening with Brahmakumaris. Our topic today is soul connections. Let's welcome Sister Shivani. Om Shanti, Sister.
Om Shanti.
Sister, we were talking about relationships, and in the last episode, we ended about worry.
Yeah.
Worrying.
Something which seems to have become very natural today.
So we have to worry about that.
We have to worry that it's become very natural. So what do
let's
we do
sit
about
together
it?
and worry about this whole thing. That the whole
Why
world
worrying has become natural?
Yeah, and the world is worrying. So let's sit down together, worry in front of the camera, so that the worry goes away.
Yeah.
Because people think that worry is the remedy.
Yeah.
If all of us in the world, if we sit together and worry, and that's the cure, let's all worry.
Absolutely.
So what is a worry for?
It's a story that we create inside, and it's an image that I've created, a fiction that I create inside, and then I use that to create fear. What if this happens? And then if this happens? But if not like this, if that happens, nothing has happened.
So people who worry, they can write good film stories.
Yes, they're very good script writers. Very, very good script writers. And they're so creative with it. They can just go on and on creating that negative story. And then the story hasn't happened, but you use that story already to create fear. And because you're creating fear, you're depleting your energy. So every time that worrying thought starts, like we say to somebody else, don't worry. You know, this is a relationship I built with someone else. I love them, so I don't like to see them worrying. So I'll say, don't worry. Everything is fine.
But I usually tell them, I'm not worried.
That you will answer in response. But what do I will say to you? Don't worry.
Sab theek ho jayega.
Yeah. But now I need to start saying that to myself. Don't worry. This story may never happen. Every time this script starts playing on my mind.
Sister, even if it happens,
we'll see it when it happens.
So what? How does worry connect? By worrying, even if this story is going to happen tomorrow, how is it this worry connected to that story?
See.
Is this a cure?
No, like, let's see whether it's the cure. One is the story is going to happen, suppose it's going to happen tomorrow. You know, there's a situation tomorrow. I don't know what the outcome is, but I'm worrying means I've created some outcome today. Now, you're saying, what if that particular outcome does happen tomorrow? But it's going to happen tomorrow.
Okay.
And when it happens, I still have to face it. And I have to create a right response. But today, 20 hours before it's actually happened, I'm worrying. And I'm creating fear, and because I'm worrying and creating fear, I'm reducing my strength. So after worrying for about 10, 15 or 20 hours, or sometimes 10, 15, 20 years about something, parents are worried about their children's future 20 years. When the child is this much, they're worried about his career. So if we are worrying now about something that's going to happen tomorrow, so 20 hours, I deplete my energy. And after 20 hours, I have to face that situation.
By then you're already so weak.
Exactly.
And you need strength to face something.
That's what's happening. And then when that situation actually arises, I've already created so much fear imagining that outcome. So if that outcome really happens, what's the emotion that I'm going to create?
I die of a heart attack.
Yeah. So stability will not be possible at that time.
But worrying is also visualizing.
Yeah, so visualizing.
And by visualizing negative things, we can create it also.
Because we're already creating the energy. But most important, we're creating the emotion of fear right now. So, irrespective of whatever is the outcome, we're not to create that outcome right now, and definitely not create a negative outcome and use that to scare ourselves. So every time we see that internal conversation begin, what if this, what if that, I need to stop and tell myself, this story might never happen. So full stop. I have to work on my thinking. I can't just let it go on. Now if I do this once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, I'm breaking my old pattern of thinking.
Is that enough? By just saying this story might not happen, or you can convert it, the whole thing into a positive?
That's second step. First, unless this cycle stops, Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Even if other people come and tell me, but you know what, it might happen like this or it might happen like that, but my script writing has already begun in another direction. And that's a habituated direction. It's been going on since many, many years.
A very, very strong sanskara.
Very strong sanskar, but very easy to change. Only if I'm aware. It's only awareness, because we can see ourselves worrying. Everyone can make out when they're worrying. It's just that let me not call it natural, and definitely not let me not call it care. This is my care for my child, so I'm worrying. No.
You said just don't say that worrying is natural. It's a very bad belief.
Yeah, because we say worrying is natural. It's natural to worry. So stop that and stop myself. This story might never happen. So I need to stop that pattern of thinking. Another very common pattern of thinking which can deplete my energy is controlling. One was criticizing, one was worrying, and the third is controlling. You know, internally the conversation is, the weather shouldn't be like this, you shouldn't be like this, they shouldn't be like this, they should have done it like this, the world shouldn't be like this. I might not be saying it out to anyone.
Just a continuous,
Just
non-stop
a continuous.
thought.
The taxi drivers shouldn't be like this, the cricketers shouldn't be like this, the politicians of my country
The
need to
police.
change, the police, yeah, everyone.
The streets, the street
everyone,
lights,
everyone.
the weather, God,
God. Yeah.
except me,
Yeah.
the whole world.
So every time I'm trying to control things which are not in my control, I'm depleting energy.
This is controlling or being critical?
This is controlling. No, I'm trying to change. I want to control the way they are.
No, you're not trying to change.
You want to,
You're
they
just
shouldn't be
naming
like
it. You
this.
say this is bad, this is bad, this is false.
Means
This is
it
not
should
right.
be some other way, right?
Yeah, but you're not trying to change it at all.
Your mind, even when I say, why is it so hot today?
Yeah.
It means I'm not liking it the way it
Likes
is.
and dislikes.
Yeah. So if I had a choice, I would want it another way.
Yeah,
I'm not
but again,
liking the people the way they're driving their cars around me. Everything. I'm not liking my child the way he's behaving. I'm not liking the way the government is running the country. And I would want it another way. So this running commentary that's going on inside, which is of absolute no use,
This dislike, what is the basic of this? I mean,
it's not the way I think is right.
so this is the worst thing in relationship.
Absolutely.
That's what we're talking about, relationships.
Absolutely. But that's why we're first looking at it, how it happens inside, because this is commentary which is happening inside, and then it'll come out in my words and in my interactions
So
with you.
we're coming from all these things, dislikes and dislikes, controlling,
Here.
worrying, everything which we're thinking here, and the patterns or sanskaras.
It's
So
then
all
coming
that
outside.
is coming in the way of our relationships.
Now what happened earlier also, we've read a lot on relationships, we've talked a lot about it, but we always talked about it after the energy came outside. We said don't criticize people, don't try to control people, don't blame people. But we were talking about it all after the energy was out into words or actions, and that's why it was difficult to change. And at the Brahmakumaris, the very beautiful aspect that we learn is, don't worry about what's happening outside. Start just checking here. Check it here, change it here,
Your response?
develop a beautiful relationship with yourself. Relationships outside will be very smooth. Very, very smooth. If someone is clean, pure, and absolutely powerful and positive internally, there's no way they wouldn't have a healthy relationship.
In Hindi say, tum shant raho, koi shor nahi.
How
Can you-
beautiful.
Can you explain that in English?
If you are at peace with yourself, everything around you is perfect.
If your inner self is silent,
Silent.
there's no noise outside.
There's nothing.
It's you.
Absolutely. So this, now whenever we see ourselves trying to control things internally, I need to tell myself, the only thing that I can control is myself.
Myself.
So let me look only there where I have the control. So these are little
we have
ways.
our control. I don't. Here I don't agree with you.
You don't control?
I have control over me, myself.
You don't?
No, I don't.
That's the height of our unawareness.
No.
You know, we're trying to control those things which are not in our control. And the only thing which is in my control, why it's in my control? Because it's my creation.
It should
Do
be.
we have a control?
I agree with
Okay,
you.
do we have a control over what we say?
So many times, no.
Do we have a control over what we do? Do I know whether I can raise this hand up, move it left, move it right? Is it going according to my control?
It becomes, a lot of things become involuntarily, because...
When things here are involuntary,
Right. Yes.
then I will, if I don't check it at this stage, anger, resentment, frustration, not checked at this stage, starts coming out in words, and very soon I say I don't have control over my words. Not checked at this stage also.
I don't have control over my anger.
No, then it's no control here.
And,
Whatever comes around me and I can pick it up and I can hit it, I can shoot. What is road rage? Nothing. Normal people, not so-called criminals, terrorists, normal people with their family in the car, going for a holiday, going for a picnic, a little provocation, carrying a licensed weapon.
They kill each other.
Why? Involuntary. Over thoughts, second words, third has reached actions.
There's so many reasons behind him, the ego, and what will people say,
Whatever.
what will my family
It's
say.
not about the reason.
I'm being a man, I can't do this,
After doing it, do we regret? And which means at that moment, I went out of control. Just that one moment. In Mumbai, this happened about 5 or 6 years back. I read it in the newspaper. So there was this mother who was trying to teach her child spellings. She was sitting and she was doing her kitchen work and she was teaching her child spellings. And the child was doing it well, but would get stuck at one word, and that word was 40. It was like F-O-R-T-Y, he was not getting it right. And she just went on and on and on, and he was not getting it right. And this went on for a long time, he was not getting it right. She was chopping vegetables. She just hit him with the knife.
Really?
Yes, this was in the newspaper.
Her own child.
Yes, but it's
That's what I meant.
It's not
When I said
pre-planned, decided, nothing.
It's not in your control, your own self.
What's not in my control? My own hand is not in my control.
No.
Why?
If it was, she wouldn't have done it.
Obviously, she wouldn't have.
Huh? That's what I said.
So we don't do it. You said we do it for any other reason, ego, family. No, it's because at that moment we went out of control.
We usually do.
We've seen, don't you see
Everyday
people who
people do.
just lift, if there's a glass lying there, they can just pick it up and throw it. We've seen in the offices, people can pick up their paperweight on their table and throw it. Or okay, if not something so big, if there's a paper in their hand and they're angry with what the person has done, they can just take that paper and fling it at him.
I remember a teacher who was just cleaning the blackboard with a duster, and somebody started talking. He threw the duster on him.
Out of control. Out of control. There are teachers who fall into trouble because they use violence with the student. They know they're not supposed to lift their hand on the child. They know it's legally an offense. But at that moment, the child provokes. They lose control.
That means all these incidents you and I are speaking about, that proves that this is natural.
This is not natural. This is something which was not being taken.
No, that means it's not. This is out of control.
It's out of control. But why did it reach this stage?
Why?
Because it was not checked here. It's not that anyone suddenly will do it.
Where is it written that it should be checked here? Which school has taught me that? Which teacher, which class, which religion? And
because every time somebody was trying to teach us that, we said we don't have time. We're too busy.
Who was that somebody?
Even today we talk to so many people.
Let's go back in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Who taught me this? That we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that.
When we check something is uncomfortable, it's my role and my responsibility to stop and work on it. If I see something dirty, it's my responsibility to clean it. When I see
I
something
can see
here,
a dirt on a table. I cannot see a dirt here.
because I'm never
and people
looking
who
at
have
it.
dirt on their face, they keep on cleaning the mirror.
Yes.
When they see the mirror, they say there's something wrong
Exactly.
there. So at least give them that much of the credit that they do not know about it.
Fine, okay. So now that we're
We
learning.
can't blame them that
We're not
everybody
blaming
knows
anyone.
and they have the strength, they have the power. Nobody has, Didi.
Yes, but then it's like we're hardly ever taking out a minute to even pause and look at ourselves.
Even the government of India is not taking out of the schools education department
Now, no
or the
one,
parents.
no one
or-
will do it for me. I have to start doing it
So
for
now
myself.
you're doing it for the listeners
sharing.
and the people who are
And
watching.
as we share, we get to work on ourselves. And if everyone can just take up these three things today: critical about themselves, worrying, controlling. Even if these three patterns of thinking, because these are three very typical patterns of thinking, which almost each one of us has.
Worrying, critical about themselves, and
Critical thinking, worrying thinking, and controlling.
so how does one control if I get somebody comes here and if I feel like hitting somebody? How do I control?
It won't we're not going to go from outside in. Now we're going to start checking our thoughts. And every time I see my mind having this conversation, this shouldn't be like this should be like this, thinking about things which are not in my control, immediately stop and check myself. The only thing that's in my control is me. And because I know now that's the only thing which is in my control, I immediately stop and change my thinking.
Why can't we do it early in the morning, the first thing when we wake up?
Yes.
Things which are not in my control, I can't do anything about it. I will not worry today.
Yeah.
I will not be critical about myself today.
Absolutely.
And I will not be, I won't have any road rage. All these things we
We
should
don't have to
plan in the
think
morning.
so much about it. We just have to start seeing our thoughts. And wherever we see these patterns of so-called natural thinking, now stop and even if we prepare in the morning, but we'll have to keep attention during the day. You know, we can prepare ourselves in the morning. I'm going to remain stable. I'm powerful. I'm peaceful. I will accept everyone. I'll accept myself. I say this to myself in the morning.
But I
those
have those
habituated,
qualities.
but that's
And
true.
I'm strong enough.
Yeah.
I have these things. I don't have to acquire them.
Yeah, but
It's
when
already
those
there.
habituated patterns of thinking, they will crop up during the day. And I cannot think about them in the night after I go back home. I will have to now learn this art of working outside and yet at the same time being able to see something going on inside. You know, it's like we can work with music around. We can work with some songs playing or listening to something. Similarly, now I work outside with listening to this thing inside.
I do that when I'm shooting. I know that I'm moving. I know the camera is here. I know that I have to take the light. I know that this actor has to speak his lines, and also I know that I have to speak properly.
Right.
So many things at one time. I have
Same
to know.
time, yeah.
I'm aware.
Aware. This is awareness.
If I go out of this, I will be going out of the frame.
Absolutely. So awareness.
Within the frame of the camera,
Right.
wherever my light is there, I have to walk from here to there, not beyond this, not here.
Absolutely.
And my anger or my dialogue should not be beyond this degree or not this, because I'm playing that kind of a role. So there's so many things
to be aware of.
Yeah, but I can do that while only the camera is on.
Yeah. But now we
As soon
can
as
do
the
the
camera
same
is
thing
off,
outside. It's only about priority. While you're at your work, this is on your priority. And you know that you need to be aware of all these things. We are aware of a lot of things. See, I could be working in my office and thinking about what my children are doing at home, what my parents are doing at home. Have they had their meal? Has my child finished their homework? This is awareness. And in between, I will just make a phone call and just find out if everything is okay. I'm still working in my office. So we are doing a lot of multitasking. I could be on the computer, still have a call, do that, do this, send a fax in the meantime from here. We can do a lot of things at the same time. So it's not that we do one thing at a time. Now it's only that with all these priorities, Now one priority.
One more.
Not one more, most important. Most important. What is the conversation going on inside? Because that conversation, that pattern is my energy, it's my vibration, it's my aura, it's my relationships.
So basically, the life, this is life, you,
The life
yourself.
force, me, myself.
Then
That's most important.
Be aware of that.
Absolutely.
Then that's you.
This is it. And another very typical way of thinking is obsessive thinking, where one particular thought can just go on and on and on and on and on in your mind. That can be very damaging for my energy field. It's depleting. So these are things which I need to stop and check. I cannot call them natural and let them be. And I cannot expect that they will change on their own. Another very typical belief system is it will take care of by itself. It will get okay in some time.
Shivani, by being aware that we are doing a program and it's about 27 minutes, I'm also aware that it's time for us to have a beautiful meditation for our listeners, viewers for the points we've taken today.
Sure. Let me sit back for a moment and meet myself. The one relationship which I have ignored and neglected for a very long time. Let me start looking at myself. I, the being, creator of every thought and feeling. I now realize that I have the power to change and channelize my thoughts in the direction I choose. There are challenges. There is work to be done. There are situations waiting for me today and in the future. But whenever I think of any of them, let me take care that my every thought is clean, positive, and powerful. However big the challenge may be, the outcome I create on the screen of mind right now is my choice. I am carefully teaching my mind to create a calm and positive response. The only energy that's in my control is me, myself. Irrespective of whatever is happening around me, let me remind myself I can only control myself and focus my attention on that which is in my control.